Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to the farm. It is about 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, and it is raining. The most amazing thing is we live here in northwest Montana, which I think is considered high desert because our rainfall and moisture levels are super really low. I think we only get like little less than 30 inches of moisture a year. So any kind of moisture we can get, either in the form of rain or snow, is always welcome. So I'm here on the porch. Can't get out in the flower fields, it's too wet. So I'm here on the porch crating up the last of my lilies. I have a few more lilies to pot up, and if I don't hurry up and get them in the soil, they won't bloom before we get our first frost in September. So I just thought I would bring you guys along with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you a little bit about what the lilies look like as they go into the soil, and we'll just talk about them going forward. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so here we are. This is a tulip crate. I've got some spent soil here in the crate. I used them for crated up tulips this past fall. Not fall, spring. And tulips usually don't use a lot of, nutrients from the soil. Almost all the nutrients that they have is located in their bulb, so they don't usually use a lot of nutrients. So we can pot these bulbs up, these lily bulbs up, right into the soil that was once used by the tulips. Okay, this is Frontera. I got this from Awnings or Ownings, however you say it. They come they come right out of the freezer, but by the time they get to me, they're not frozen anymore and they're ready to plant. So this is a little bit hard to see, but this one is perfect. This is the growing tip right here. Here are the roots. Now, with a lily, it's not a cut and come again. So it doesn't mean that once it blooms, you can cut the blooms and it will make a new bloom that same season. Once you cut the bloom, it's done for the season. It will make more blooms later, next year, if you leave them in the soil, but for that growing season, it's done. That's why it's super important that you protect this growing tip if your lilies are already starting to sprout by the time you get them in the mail. This one's not, well, a tiny bit, but that one's not. But this one is, a few of them are, so we have to be just super careful as we plant them. If I were to break this tip off, it would still thrive and it would still survive, but it would not give me a bloom this year. So we have to be super careful. Okay, as you'd imagine, this is the piece that sticks up out of the earth, and this is the root section. So this is the part that needs to go in the soil. So let's try that real quick. Be really gentle. Move all these over. Okay, just dig a little hole. Plant the lily in it. There we go. Now I typically do plant lilies in crates. It just serves me best as far here in the farm to go ahead and plant them in crates, and so I do that. So I do plant some lilies in the soil for my own benefit, like in our flower beds around the house. But typically when it comes to flower farming, if I'm going to use the lily that I'm growing that season, if I'm going to use it for a cut flower, then I do it in crates. I'm just able to control everything about its growth better in crates, and it will make sure that I get a nice usable stem. Anyway, so my point is my growing area in the crate is not super deep. So I try to nestle it down. If I'm using soil that I've already used for tulips in this case, like in this case, I try to nestle them down as far as possible, because the lilies actually will develop roots along the stem, and that will just help the lily be nice and strong, and then also, oops, there goes the dog, nice and strong, and then also nice and healthy the more roots it has. But in this kind of a situation, I don't have that much soil. I'm not able to bury it too deep. So anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell. So the idea behind putting lily bulbs like this in crates is that you try to get them several inches apart, because as they grow, they will spread a little bit. The stalks themselves have leaves on them, and so you do need to give them some room to spread out a little bit to make a good, healthy, vibrant bloom. I can get about 20 to 25 bulbs in a crate like this, in this tulip crate, and in about 60 days or so, these will be ready. They'll be blooming. Can't wait. Okay.
All right, short and sweet. Thanks a lot for joining with me today as I plant up a couple of leftover lily bulbs, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.